Have you ever stopped to think about the sort of invisible stuff that keeps our world running? You know, like pipelines or hidden machines, or maybe even something really specific like an abrasive disc.
Seems pretty niche, right?
Exactly. But what if I told you that one particular tool, the flap disk, is actually playing this huge, quiet role in the global economy, almost like a hidden indicator of industrial health.
It's fascinating when you dig into it.
So that's what we're doing today, a deep dive. We've got this really comprehensive report from Cognitive Market Research all about the global flap disk market.
Hmm.
And our mission really is to get past just the raw numbers. We want to understand the, frankly, astonishing scale of this market, its strategic importance,
Yeah, look at what's driving the growth, the trends popping up in different regions.
and show you why looking at these specialized markets can actually give you a really unique view on, global economic development as a whole.
Absolutely. It's easy to just brush off a tool like this, think, oh, it's just another consumable. But when you connect the dots,
Right.
you see that demand for these things, it directly mirrors what's happening on the ground.
Hmm.
Building infrastructure, making cars, fabricating metal parts. It's all connected.
And just to give you a sense of the scale right off the bat,
Yeah.
this market, it was already worth over $4 billion back in 2021.
Wow. Okay.
And the projections show some really significant growth ahead.
That's a serious number for something most people haven't heard of.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe for listeners who aren't, deep in the world of abrasives, let's just quickly paint a picture. What is a flap disk?
Sure. So basically, picture a disc, right? But instead of being solid, it's made of these overlapping pieces like slabs of abrasive material.
Okay.
And you use it for grinding, blending, finishing surfaces, usually metal.
Right. So think
Right.
automotive plants, construction sites, metal shops.
Exactly. General manufacturing, metalworking. They're everywhere in those fields with kind of the workhorses, getting those smooth finishes, cleaning up welds.
Got it.
And the really interesting part, the reason we're diving deep, is why they're taking over, in a way.
Okay.
The report really hammers this home. They're incredibly cost-effective and versatile,
So bang for your buck.
big time.
Yeah.
And that's not a small thing. It's causing this noticeable shift away from older, maybe more traditional grinding tools.
Yeah.
And that adoption is happening fast, in the developed economies and in emerging markets.
Mm.
It's really a story of efficiency winning out.
All right, let's talk about that scale then. Put some numbers on it. You mentioned over $4 billion in 2021.
Yeah, the exact figure was around $4,023 million.
Okay, so $4 billion. And it's projected to jump to over $5 billion, $5,956 million by 2025.
Just a couple of years.
And then, get this, almost double again to nearly $8 billion, $7,985 million by 2033.
That is serious momentum.
It translates to a really healthy compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of almost 6%, 5.879% to be precise, over more than a decade.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is that this growth, it's not happening in a vacuum, right? It's tied directly to more industrial activity, more infrastructure projects popping up all over the world.
Right. It reflects actual building, actual manufacturing.
Exactly. These numbers mean new factories are going up, new buildings, better transport networks,
Yeah.
things that all need the kind of finishing work these disks do. It's like a fundamental measure of global development.
Okay, so that's the big global picture. Huge growth. But where is this quiet revolution, making the most noise? Let's zero in on the regions that are really, really growing fast. Some surprises here.
Definitely some surprises.
Believe it or not, Africa, the report highlights it as having, quote, one of the most promising growth potentials.
Yeah.
It's projected to go from about 92, maybe $93 million in 2021 up to almost $250 million by 2033.
That is remarkable. And it means Africa actually has the highest regional key IGR of them all. It's soaring past 9%, 9.072%.
Wow, over 9%?
Yeah. And if you look closer, countries like Nigeria, South Africa,
Yeah.
they're both showing really strong growth. KGRs over 8.7% each. That signals real investment, real development happening.
And what really jumped out at me was the rest of Africa category.
Uh,
That part shows a KGR of 9.4%, almost 9.5%.
wow.
And the report links that directly to a boom in construction, mining, metalworking across many different parts of the continent. It suggests really widespread growth.
That's incredibly telling. It speaks to maybe a fundamental shift happening there.
It does. And then if we shift focus a bit, look at South America.
Mm.
we see a similar kind of story, rapid expansion.
Right.
The market there, it's projected to grow from around $265 million in 2021 to nearly $580 million by 2033.
Also very strong. The CAGR there is almost 6.9%,
I
6.871%.
Who's leading the charge there?
Well, Argentina actually has the highest country CAGR on the continent, over 7.3%.
Interesting.
Yeah, followed by the rest of South America category, then Brazil. And again, this growth points to more adoption, especially in metal fabrication and the auto industry, which are really buzzing in the region. Clear sign of industrial expansion.
Okay, Africa and South America showing surprising strength. Now, what about Asia Pacific? Always a powerhouse.
Ah, yes. So while Africa might have the highest rate of growth, that CAGR,
Right.
Asia Pacific is where the fastest growth is happening in terms of just sheer dollars overall revenue.
Okay, makes sense. The scale is different.
Exactly. It's jumping from a huge $1.6 billion in 2021
Wow.
to an expected $3.3 billion by 2033. Still a very strong CDR2, over 6.2%, 6.265%.
And I assume China and India are big drivers there.
Absolutely, they're leading the way.
Yep.
India actually shows a particularly strong CAGR, over 7%.
7.027%.
Right, and that's really fueled by its rapid industrialization, all the construction going on, massive domestic demand.
But it's not just them, right?
No, not at all. The report points out significant opportunities elsewhere, too. Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and Southeast Asia as a whole has a healthy CAGR over 6.6%.
So really broad growth across the entire region.
Yeah, it's quite telling.
Okay, let's pivot now to the more established markets, North America. How's it looking there?
Steady, very steady performance. It's growing from almost $1.2 billion in 2021,
Right.
$1,158 million, to a projected $2.2 billion by 2033.
Solid growth.
Yeah, and within North America, the U.S. is obviously the giant. Its revenue goes from around $900 million in 2021 to about $1.65 billion by 2033. The CGR there is just over 5%.
Okay, 5.038%.
Right. But, interestingly, don't overlook the others. Canada is showing a strong CAGR, over 6.4%.
Oh, higher than the U.S. rate?
Yeah. And Mexico's also solid, over 5.6% CAGR, so healthy expansion across the board there, too.
And Europe, still a major industrial hub.
Definitely a major hub for demand. It's expanding from about $756 million in 2021 to nearly $1.44 billion by 2033.
Okay, key players.
Well, you've got Germany, Italy, Russia contributing significantly. France actually stands out a bit with a CGR over 6.1%.
6.186%.
Which suggests, maybe increasing industrial use there specifically.
Interesting.
But what's also quite interesting is the rest of Europe category again. That grouping shows one of the strongest performances in the region, nearly 6.8% CAGR.
Wow. So smaller economies, maybe more modernization happening.
That could be it. It suggests that even in these mature markets, there's still significant activity driving demand for these kinds of tools. Modernization, maybe specialization.
Okay, one more region to touch on, the Middle East.
Right. The growth there is a bit more modest, projected to go from around $149 million in 2021 to about $255 million by 2033.
And a CAGR.
It's around 4.4%.
Yeah.
4.404%. Steady but slower than other regions.
Any standouts there?
Well, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt provide steady contributions. The UAE shows a bit more momentum. Its CAGR is over 5.4%. But the report does note that in some countries there, the expansion is a bit more restrained, maybe linked to slower industrial diversification.
Right. So if the industrial base isn't as varied, the demand for these specific tools might be a bit more limited. Makes sense.
Okay, so we've toured the world, basically, from booming Africa and Asia Pacific to the steady giants like North America and Europe and the more modest Middle East. What does this all, really mean? How do we tie this together for our listeners?
Well, I think if you take a step back, the fact that we're seeing this comprehensive growth pretty much everywhere,
Yeah, almost universally.
it really highlights just how important these flap disks have become across so many different industries. It's like this quiet but really powerful indicator. The common thread, the thing driving this market that people don't often see, is just solid, accelerating activity in industry, construction, manufacturing, metal fabrication, all over the planet.
So it's a fundamental tool that's really underpinning massive global development. Exactly. It reveals where the real money, the real investment in infrastructure and industry is actually going.
It really is amazing. A product like a flap disk sounds so niche, right?
Totally.
But it turns out to be this critical piece, maybe even a leading indicator for all this huge global industrial and infrastructure growth. It's quite something.
It absolutely is.
Huh.
And it kind of raises a bigger question, doesn't it?
Like what?
Well, it makes you wonder how many other markets like this exist? Seemingly small, specialized industrial sectors that are quietly driving massive global economic trends.
That's a great point.
And what does this specific example, the flap disk story, tell us about where global industrialization and infrastructure are heading, especially in places we might not usually think of as, hotbeds of industrial growth?
Yeah, that's definitely something to chew on. So maybe next time you hear about big global economic trends.
Look a little deeper.
Exactly. Keep an eye out for these sort of hidden drivers, these niche markets. They often tell a much more tangible, maybe more revealing story about what's really happening in the world than you might expect.
Well said.
Welcome, deep divers. Get ready for quite a fascinating journey today. We're going into a corner of the industrial world you might not think about much. The surprisingly complex universe of flap disks.
That's right, flap disk.
Yeah, you heard that right. So our mission today, like always, is to sift through our source materials, pull out the really key nuggets of knowledge, insights about market dynamics, future trends.
All for these essential, but often overlooked tools.
Exactly. And it's a great example, I think, of how these sort of niche topics can really unlock a whole lot of understanding about global industries. Innovation, too.
It's spot on. And while, flap disks might sound a bit mundane,
A little bit.
they're actually incredibly critical key components in, a surprising number of industries. And looking at their market gives us this unique lens, really, into broader economic shifts, technological changes.
Okay.
So this deep dive, it'll reveal what's driving their use, the big hurdles they're facing, and maybe most excitingly, the innovations really shaping their future right now.
Right, so let's unpack that. To really get the impact, maybe first clarify, what exactly are flap disks? What's their basic job?
Sure. So think of them as specialized abrasive tools. You've got these overlapping flaps, bits of sandpaper, essentially, but more advanced.
Okay.
And they're glued radially onto a backing plate.
Got it. And they're indispensable, you're saying. So the big driver is just massive demand.
Huge demand. Yeah, across key industries. The sources really point to their heavy use in metalworking fabrication.
Right.
For jobs like grinding, blending surfaces, finishing work. Absolutely crucial stuff.
And specific industries. I mean, we're talking...
Oh, yeah. I think automotive, aerospace, construction, they all lean heavily on these.
It's interesting how, a seemingly small tool underpins these massive operations.
Exactly. Like one disk failing could potentially halt a multi-million-dollar production line. It shows this sort of disproportionate economic leverage they have.
Wow.
And what's really fascinating here is how much of this growth isn't just demand, it's also being pushed hard by technological shifts.
Ah, okay, so better disks.
Better disks.
Yeah.
Manufacturers aren't just churning out the same old thing. They're constantly innovating, introducing advanced abrasive materials.
Like what? What kind of materials?
We're talking things like ceramic alumina, zirconia alumina.
Yeah.
These aren't your granddad's sandpaper grains.
Right. So why is that important? What makes them different?
Well, unlike traditional abrasives, these are engineered almost at a molecular level. They're designed to fracture in a very controlled way as they wear down.
Okay.
Which means they constantly expose new, sharp cutting edges. So you get much higher cutting efficiency, yes, but also significantly longer operational life, even under really tough conditions.
That makes sense. More cutting power lasts longer.
Precisely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, the surge in infrastructure projects, particularly in emerging economies.
Yeah, you see that mentioned everywhere.
Well, that combination, better tech and huge construction demand, has really intensified the use of flap disks. They're critical for welding prep, surface finishing, all across commercial and industrial building sites.
Okay, so lots of demand, improving tech. But it can't all be easy street, right? The market must have headwinds.
Oh, definitely not easy street. There are significant challenges.
Like what? What did the sources highlight?
Well, one really big issue is the flood of low-cost alternatives, imitations, basically, often coming from what the sources call unorganized market players.
Unorganized market players. What does that mean exactly for people listening?
Yeah, it essentially refers to smaller outfits, maybe less regulated manufacturers or distributors operating outside the sort of established industry norms and quality standards.
Okay, so cowboys, potentially?
Could be. And this creates serious pricing pressure on the reputable manufacturers. It hits their margins, but it also impacts, the perception of quality for all flap disks, and it can damage brand trust.
I can see that. Quality is probably linked to safety too, right?
Absolutely. That's another major point. Worker safety concerns are persistent.
How so?
Well, if you use them improperly, or if you're using a poor quality disk, you can get hazards like flying debris, dangerous sparks, even vibration-related injuries over time.
Ouch!
Yeah, these aren't minor things. They can cause serious harm, affect productivity, hit a company's reputation.
Which leads to?
Tighter regulations, naturally. And that means increased compliance costs for the manufacturers trying to do the right thing.
Okay, so pressure from cheap alternatives, safety issues driving up costs, anything else?
Yes, there's the constant headache of volatile raw material prices.
Ah, the inputs.
Exactly. Particularly for those specialized abrasive grains we talked about, and also the backing substrates they're glued to. That unpredictability in cost can really eat into manufacturers' profit margins. Makes long-term planning very tricky.
So, quite a few bumps in the road then. Despite all that, where are things headed? What does the future look like for these tools?
Well, there's still a lot of innovation happening, definitely. One major trend is Industry 4.0.
Right, the whole smart factory automation thing.
Exactly. That integration of smart sensors, data, AI, it's driving a big shift towards automated grinding solutions. Robots doing the grinding.
Okay, so we need discs for robots now.
Pretty much. It's boosting demand for flap disks that are specifically designed to be compatible with robotic systems. You need consistency, reliability.
Precision, yeah. And less manual work, I suppose.
Right. Precision and reducing that direct manual intervention.
That makes total sense. Automation needs tools that perform reliably every single time. What else is shaping the future?
Well, building on that, there's a growing focus on environmental sustainability. You see this everywhere, and flap disks are no exception.
How does that apply here?
It's prompting companies to develop more recyclable, eco-friendly products, maybe using safer bonding agents in the manufacturing process.
Safer how? Like fewer nasty chemicals.
Yeah, things like reducing harmful, volatile, organic compounds, VOCs. Better for the environment, but also better for the workers, using them day in, day out.
Good point. Okay, automation, sustainability. One more.
Customization. It's becoming increasingly important.
Tailor-made flap discs.
Essentially, yeah. End users are looking for discs specifically tailored for the material they're working on. So one disc for stainless steel, another for aluminum, maybe another for titanium.
Well, just for better performance.
It's more than just convenience. It's really about efficiency and reducing waste. If you have a disc optimized for, say, a specific aluminum alloy,
Okay.
it not only grinds more effectively, preventing costly material waste, but it also significantly extends the life of the disc itself. It sounds like a minor tweak, but in high-value manufacturing, that adds up to major savings on the bottom line.
Fascinating. So, okay, let's try and pull this all together. What does this deep dive mean for you, our listener? We've journeyed into this surprisingly intricate world of flap discs, and I think it just goes to show, right? Even a seemingly simple tool sits at this crossroads of complex market forces, rapid tech changes, huge global trends.
Absolutely.
And understanding these sort of nuggets of knowledge in specific areas like this, it's genuinely a shortcut to being better informed about the wider industrial landscape that, shapes our world.
That's a great way to put it. And maybe a final thought to leave with everyone. As you go about your day, just consider how many other seemingly mundane components, industrial bits and pieces, are probably undergoing similar transformations.
Good point.
Driven by the same pressures, really. Efficiency, safety, sustainability. What other hidden innovations might be reshaping things all around us, right there in plain sight?
Something to keep an eye out for.
Exactly. Keep an eye out for those subtle but really powerful shifts in everyday products and industries. You might be surprised at what you find.